No, no, no. You are doing that wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to learn a Raley. What we're going to do, the first thing, just to save you from a lot of hard crashes, we're going to stick you on a wake skate. What that's going to do is going to allow you to go and do the layout maneuver, the Raley, and then pull yourself feet first back into the water, and it doesn't have the intimidation factor of taking a digger on the board. People are a lot more prone to getting out a proper Raley and pulling it back down without the board. So you want to just first learn the technique. Honestly, the Raley is not a very hard trick, technically speaking. It's actually easier. There's less going on than a 360 or a back roll or something like that. So as far as technique goes, there's only just a couple things you got to work on. The biggest thing that you have to overcome on the Raley is the mental factor of it, letting your feet go out behind you. Because what you're doing is you're basically trying to go out the front. Does it make sense? Okay, let me explain. What you're trying to do is you're trying to create a lot of angle and edge as you get going into the wake. Angle is how much you're cutting through the wake. We've gone through a lot of this stuff. So if you think about it, just like all this stuff we've used before, going back to that, sticking your hand hard deep into the water creates a lot of pressure coming into the board. So we're trying to create all that pressure as you're going up the wake. Because what that's going to do is you're going to take that pressure pushing into your feet to kick the board out from underneath you. Okay? So what you want to do is start out with a real nice wide approach so you have a long time to get your body position set and that angle and edge set as you go up the wake. What people mistake is they think that you need to get this crazy hard edge with all this speed built up from way outside the wake, and then you get to the wake and kick the board out behind you. It doesn't work like that. If you do a proper Raley, the board should kick itself out from underneath you and it will come down on its own. I have a lot of people say that they can kick the board out from underneath them, but they can't get it down. It's because they're actually kicking it out. If you do a proper Raley, the board is going to get pushed out from underneath you. So what that means, when you start your nice easy edge in on the wake skate, you're going to want to stand tall so your hips are close to the handle and don't squat into the water. When people cut hard squatting, it feels like they're cutting hard, but their butt's just close to the water, so make sure you keep your hips up against the handle and your shoulders behind the board. As you get closer to the wake, you're going to want to increase that angle, increase that edge, cut harder and harder until your hardest edge is at the wake. Don't cut too hard too soon. If you cut too hard too soon, then you have to maintain it all the way to the wake, and it just feels like you're going super fast and it's pretty scary. So make sure you save your hardest edge for the wake. As you go up the wake, that's when you're going to want to be on your hardest edge, just holding that edge all the way through. It should almost feel like you're just doing a big wake jump with a lot of edge. Once you get to the top of the wake, if you're edging through the wake, that board is going to want to push into you, and that's at the point where you relax and you let your hips drift away. Your feet are going to travel up above your head. You want to keep your eyes looking down the lake. Some people say at the tower or down at the end of the handle. Just you want to keep your eyes looking forward. Once you get up to the top, if you've done this correctly, the board will actually come down on its own. If you try to kick it out, you're not going to have any tension pulling back on the rope, so it feels like you can't pull it down. It actually doesn't take strength. People think it takes strength to pull it Raley down. It does not. So at this point, if you've done it correctly, it's like if you swing something up, it's going to swing back down on its own. And that's what your body feels like if you do a proper Raley. When you're coming down for your landing, you can spot your landing just for a split second and then look where you want to continue traveling. And at that point, you're not really thinking anymore because you're just so freaked out of the fact that you were just flying through the air like Superman. So you want to just get your feet back underneath you and try to land as soft as possible. First couple tries might be kind of freaky getting your feet underneath you. But like I said, we're just on the wake skate at this point. So all you're trying to do is get your feet underneath you and just kind of punch into the water like a pencil. Guys, don't go with your legs apart. You know what I'm talking about. And girls, if you're doing a Raley, that's awesome. Once you transition from the wake skate into the wakeboard, it's going to actually be a lot easier to cut at the wake on your wakeboard because it's a lot easier to cut on a wakeboard than a wake skate. You can cut a lot more aggressive. If you have not done the steps on the wake skate, then we're going into this without that feeling, but it's pretty much the same thing. You want to start on a very nice wide approach. And like I was saying, it's not about speed. In fact, you can do a Raley starting about 4 or 5 feet from the wake if you know how to get your angle and edge hard and quick. We should get a shot of that, of doing a Raley super close. So with that in mind, you can do a Raley starting super close means that you don't need to edge until you get very close to the wake. So start out wide just to get yourself set into body position. Make sure that you're standing tall once again, keeping your shoulders and hips close to the handle. Wait until you get to the edge, or wait. I want you to wait until you get to the wake to even think about coming off the edge. As you go up the wake, get your hardest edge. When you get to the top of the wake, relax and let the board drift out. Once you get up into the air, like I said, keep your eyes looking down the lake. Let your arms extend out, and it's all about relaxing. When you're on your way down, it's going to be pretty much something that happens naturally. If the board goes up correct, it's going to come down on its own. And like I said before, think about that soft landing. Okay, that Raley attempt was good, but your front foot was drifting super far away and actually did what we call stargaze, where your board continued going high into the air with your lead foot almost going too far behind you. We call that a stargaze Raley. What happens to cause that is, as you cut into the wake, two things were going on for you on that one. First off, you were standing with all your weight on your back foot, and I could tell as you went into the wake, your front leg was straight and your back leg was bent. And that means you have all the weight on your back leg. And that just happens because you get kind of freaked out, so you kind of want to get on the back of the board. Bend both knees equally. Keep your weight centered straight over the board. What also was going on in that stargaze Raley for you was you left super early, and so the board wanted to get into the air way too soon, and it just sends it into almost a back roll. And that's what happened to you earlier, is you actually, instead of doing a Raley, people mistake doing a Raley and they start to spin out of it. They think it's an S-bend, but you're actually going the opposite way. An S-bend is if you spin with your lead shoulder down rather than up. And so what you were doing on that was actually a big laid out back roll. And that happens from the same thing, having too much weight on your back foot and starting it too soon. So make sure that you're thinking about keeping more weight on that front foot and waiting for the wake. Don't leave so early.